Get that picture out of the way. No, can't really, can I?
No,
Got that big picture behind me.
yeah. Well, we'll
I'll take it off. Take that picture down.
all right. Hey, folks, coming up in 7.5 minutes' time, Mark Windows from windowsontheworld.net coming in to talk about the Heretics of London, the Smithfield Martyrs, and going to be talking about how that applies also to now. So looking forward to that coming up in just a few minutes' time, people. So yeah, enjoy the show. Do us a favour, share it. All right.
I can tell by your eyes that you've probably been crying forever. By your eyes, and the stars in the sky don't mean nothing to you. They're a mirror. I don't wanna talk about it, how you broke my heart.
This is Winston McKenzie, yeah, running for Mayor of London next year. Yeah, this is Winston McKenzie. I don't want to talk about it. His Rod Stewart cover.
Stay here, won't you listen?
Copyright free, Nick Clegg, for crying out loud.
Whoa, my heart.
Mark, you can hear me probably, sir. You're muted at the moment. Yeah, you can. You need to unmute.
Hide the color of my heart, blue for the tears, black for the night's fear. The stars in the sky don't mean nothing to you. They're a mirror. I don't wanna talk about it, how you broke my heart. If I stay here just a little bit longer, if I stay here, won't you listen to my heart? Whoa, my heart. I don't wanna talk about it, how you broke my heart. If I stay here just a little bit longer, if I stay here, won't you listen to my heart? Whoa, my heart. My heart.
Wow, that's nice. Winston McKenzie running for mayor, and he released that single. God bless you, mate. Very nice. Big cheers.
Well, I'm sitting here watching garbage box full.
And this is Dave Fergie, Liverpool Beat, another one of our regulars.
Got a bitch box full of my clothes. Ain't gonna match it, sure got a long way to go. And the people live out till the big time comes. And the people live down till your big time comes. When the big time comes, they're gonna tell about a little next day. I'm a long poor boy, have a lot away from home. I'm a long poor boy, have a lot away from home. Nobody loves me, and they'll think it is wrong. Be in love, like baby, till the big day comes. Let me be in love, like till the big day comes. When the big day comes, you gonna tell me about a little bit more. All right, honey. Oh, boy, never long away from home. Oh, boy, never long away from home. Nobody loves me, every little thing that is on. All right. Been a lot of times since rock and roll. Been a lot of times since it hit the store. Been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely. She long here, got bed back home in my clothes. She right here, got bed back home in my clothes. Nobody loves me, every little thing I do is
Right. Oh. That was abrupt. What happened? Hey folks, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good people. Welcome to the Daily Chaos. Or do I have KO? Know what I mean? I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. And now, Heretics. Mark Windows from windowsontheworld.net is here to tell us about his new movie, The Heretics of London. The Smithfield Martyrs. Yeah, God bless you, Mark.
Thanks for having us on, Ollie.
Not at all. Oh, you can't hear. You can't hear, can you? I've just got my theme music going on. Just a sec. Yeah, Daily Chaos is right. Know what I mean? Indeed. So, religious persecution, or was it political persecution? We're going to look at that, we're going to study that, and we're going to equate it to what is going on today. And do us a favour, folks, in the comments, because I have been playing around with the audio quite a lot, one way or another, in the last couple of days. Let us know that the audio is okay, that you can hear what's going on. You should be watching this at dailychaos.news/show. That's the place to watch the show. That's the place to get involved in the comments and to call in. It's just a link. Click on it. Come on in. Oh, hey, Mark Windows. Good evening, sir. How are you?
Hi, Ollie.
Good to have
All
you
is
back.
good here.
Good to have you back, sir. You did a show already tonight, didn't you? Your show.
Yes, I do Monday to Friday on an American radio station called Republic Broadcasting Network.
Right.
And they asked me to do shows on there after being a guest with a friend of mine, Lark, in Texas. They're based in Texas. So it's interesting to get the perspectives. So we're giving them a UK perspective, and we get their perspective from the callers. And they're good people who listen to it. They're very kind of broad-minded and switched on, and definitely outside the controlled narrative of the hive mind, I would say. Yeah.
What's it called again? Revolution?
No, Republic Broadcasting Network.
Right, okay. I used to do something with Revolution Radio stateside, freedomslips.com, and it is fascinating interacting with our stateside cousins. There's some incredible parallels going on. Maybe we'll come on to that a little bit later. We were talking about some of that last night on the show Portland, looking at what's going on with the BLM stroke Antifa stroke Democrat Antifa protests and what have you. But anyway, maybe we can come on to that a little bit. But windowsontheworld.net. Now, I know you're a prolific researcher, sir, an encyclopedic mind when it comes to the New World Order, the cabal, what's going on right now today. I hadn't realized that you also are somewhat of a historian. Yeah, I think it was Churchill said, if you want to know about the future, look to the past. Have you been doing some of that with the Heretics of London? How did you get into this project? And then we'll talk a bit about it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Ollie, I started walking around the city of London many years ago. In fact, I moved to London in 1988, and I lived there for over 30 years. And I regularly used to go and take walks through the city of London on a Sunday and into a Sunday evening. And I found it fascinating. And you could walk round the city of London for weeks on end, and you still would miss quite a lot of places because of the way it's laid out. And the little alleyways, the passages, the little back streets. It's not somewhere that you can drive through and know. And that's interesting because a lot of the history is actually buried. And when you get to just outside the old city wall, you get to Smithfield, just up the road from St. Paul's. And there's something about that particular area that really fascinated me. You have the oldest church in London there, St. Bartholomew's the Great, founded in 1123.
Yeah.
And that is in itself a unique place. And the small surrounding area to that is so full of history. There's 1,000 years of history there. Smithfield was known as the Smooth Field because that's where you used to be able to take your horses. Cattle used to congregate there. There was the same as there is now in a way. There's a meat market there now, not as functional as it used to be. That's been there a long time.
Market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Famous.
But there's a drinking trough there, and it's still there, and it's about 500 or 600 years old. And people used to take their horses up there for a drink, basically. And it started to become a place where people would gather. So anywhere that the people will gather becomes popular. And so where people gather, then it makes sense to execute people there, doesn't it? And that's exactly what happened.
Right.
So I started looking into the executions there. And then into heresy. And what particularly fascinated me was the execution of a woman called Anne Askew.
Anne Askew.
On the 16th of June, 1546, I think. I've got all the dates here, but there's a lot of heretics who were executed there. And Anne Askew's particularly relevant because she was landed gentry. She was a friend of Catherine Parr.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore connected
Catherine
to the royal
Parr,
household.
she was one of Henry VIII's wives, no?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we have a connection to landed gentry to this heretic, or this girl who was accused of heresy. And what we have to remember also is what heresy actually means in the Greek.
Yes.
Heresy means to choose. So that's
Nice
why
plan.
it's relevant now.
Yes.
Because to be a heretic means you are able to choose. And we are in a time where choice is being taken away.
Yeah.
So there are parallels. So to get back to your question before we get into the detail, I started going down. I read about this execution of Anne Askew and others. And I started looking into the whole history of Smithfield. And you used to have there the gallows, which were known as the elms. And the elms were round some elm trees at the top of what is now Cow Lane. We started looking into the history. And about 5 years ago, an American chap came over, was very interested in it. And we went down there and filmed and asked some of the history. And we found out from the old maps where the gallows originally were. And they're behind a Freemasonic hall at the top of what was Cow Lane, still is Cow Lane, and right at the beginning of where Smithfield Market starts, when you're going into Smithfield. And then you've got this sort of open space and a rotunda garden in the middle. But what's fascinating was that we found out where the gallows were, and we found this entrance, which was at the back of the Freemasonic hall, they're the haberdashers. And we'd identified that as to where the original gallows were. Very shortly after that, it was covered up. And whenever we went down there, we were getting a lot of attention. In fact, I filmed it, and I'll be putting it out on the DVD when it comes out. We're going to have some extras DVD with the film, The Heretics of London. So it's quite interesting. So we'd been down there several times. We were looking at these Freemasonic halls that fringed Smithfield as well, including the Grocer's Hall, that's around there, the Butcher's Hall, the haberdashers. These were part of the city livery companies. The city livery companies, this is where 6s and 7s came from. It came from I think it was the grocers or the butchers. They were always at 6s and 7s, the livery companies. This isn't the sort of area we're going in tonight, but it's interesting as a background, because once you start stripping this stuff away, that whole area has a history of 1,000 years, most of it quite recorded as well. You know, you can find out most of this stuff. So we started looking into the executions, where the actual gallows were, and then we started looking into the Smithfield martyrs. There's a plaque there, and there's only 3 names on it. John Philpott, John Bradbrook, and I'll get to those later. We can go into that later. I'm not going to get into that now, because that basically there's only 3 people who are on that martyrs plaque.
Right.
And that kind of interested me. I thought, well, wait a minute. There was 65 heretics burned at the stake in Smithfield, so only 3 of them are on the plaque. So something's been a little bit covered up. The plaque was put up by the Protestant Alliance in 1870. However, our film deals with not just Protestants, but a Catholic and an Anabaptist. And also, we have featured in our film Edmund Bonner, Bishop of London, and also Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury. So basically, once you start looking into this, you dive down a huge rabbit hole. And when you're looking at this whole subject of heresy, and this time of Henry VIII through to Mary I, there are lots of anomalies. In other words, you may be burned for heresy one year, but the next year you would be doing nothing heretical at all.
That's right. Because that was the big change, wasn't it? Going from
the Reformation. Yeah.
Henry VIII binned the Catholics and created the Church of England. And then his daughter Mary was a staunch... Oh, no. She was the same, wasn't she? But then her sister, Henry's younger daughter, Elizabeth, was a Protestant. And when... Oh, hold on a sec. I'm getting confused. No.
I think
Henry
I get a bit
VIII.
confused here. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Explain it. Because we had a transition, didn't we? From Catholic to Protestant.
What happened was...
back to Catholic. And then eventually back to Protestant.
Henry was completely engaged with the Pope as the head of the church. When the Pope would not allow his divorce, he made himself head of the church.
From Catherine of Aragon, Mary's mother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then, after Henry died, we had Edward IV.
That's right.
Who was the boy
weakling,
king, who had
the weakling
advisors.
king.
So England went
Yeah.
back to Protestantism.
Yes. Yes.
Then, when Mary came, it went back to being Catholic.
Because she took after her Spanish mum, Catherine of Aragon.
Yes. Yes.
And so
she burned
basically,
hundreds
you were
of
seeing.
heretics. She was with, yes.
So you were seeing, first of all, Catholics being persecuted with the Reformation, and monasteries and all the rest of it as well. And then you saw Protestants being persecuted under Mary, the Catholic monarch. And then it went back the other way again in spades, actually, with Elizabeth I, who started chopping off, burning a lot of Catholics again. Pleasant times. Now, you mentioned the derivation, the etymology of the word heresy, meaning choice. I wonder how much of this was about religion and how much of it was about politics.
Well, you can't really separate the two, Ollie, because what was fascinating to me when I started looking at the stories here was fundamentally this was about faith. It was about faith because nobody was forced to be burned at the stake.
Mm-hmm.
And that fascinated me.
Go on.
I found that incredibly interesting because when I was down there, I thought of Anne Askew burned at the stake. And she was 26 years old. She was landed gentry. There was no reason on earth why she would have to have suffered that fate. Because all heretics were allowed to abjure their heretical beliefs. Now, this is the interesting thing. So, in other words, the abjuration was a humiliation, a public humiliation, where the heretic or the accused heretic would be forced to carry a bundle of sticks known as a faggot on their right shoulder into a church in front of the congregation, abjure their heretical beliefs, and accept everything that they'd previously gone against. And what fascinated me most was that people were willing to go through that and basically, well, they weren't willing to abjure, but they were willing to be burned at the stake. That's the short point. And that fascinated me. And there was something about that area which had something supernatural about it, which I encountered along with a few other people. And that drew me initially to keep going back there, because something about that place was hidden, although not hidden in the respect that anyone can find this stuff out, because most of these things aren't secret. But there was a huge reluctance down there to talk about any of it, especially from the people who came out of the Freemasonic halls. In fact, denied that any burnings had taken place there, even though it says clearly that within a few feet of this plaque, these three were burnt to death, along with many others. And of course, in 1388, we had Wat Tyler killed there as well, leading the peasant revolt. He was killed just outside the arch of St. Bartholomew the Great. So this is very interesting. And we'll get on to why that's interesting as well, Ollie, because this led me into a story that is absolutely fascinating, that's not really been told in any clear way. So you've got this place that has been used for 1,000 years for buying and selling animals, then animal sacrifice, animal slaughter, then the slaughter of human beings. And the whole of the premise as to why Smithfield was famous was not just the meat market, not just the St. Bartholomew's Fair, which ran for 700 years until 1855 when it was closed down because it was too rowdy and referred to in Oliver Twist. Charles Dickens referred to it. In fact, there's a great quote. I could read that out actually later in the show. It adequately described the Smithfield of the times. You know, animals. It's just a crazy place. People bustling. You had gentry there. You had the lowest of the low, and basically the elite, all in one place.
For folks that don't know London's geography, Smoothfield, which became Smithfield, is northeast London, isn't it? It's kind of north of the city, really.
It's EC1, yeah.
EC1. And so, you know, there you go. There's your geography. So when London was that bit smaller, before we had our suburbia and all the rest of it, it was the country, really, wasn't it? And but then again, most of London was.
Yes, it was. It was countryside all around there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this was a peculiar time. England was going through massive changes in politics, and Henry VIII wanted to get his leg over, or maybe he just didn't like Catherine of Aragon for whatever reason. It's very hard to know exactly what is true history and what's been elaborated, I suppose. But we do know that there were massive changes politically and in terms of religion in the UK. And lots of people, including, for example, Anne Askew, were caught up in that turmoil, Mark.
Yes.
So Anne Askew, for example, now, so landed gentry, presumably she'd had as good an education as you could get in those days.
Yes.
And would it be the case that she was an example of somebody, I'm stretching here maybe, but who was maybe not executed quite so much for her religious views as perhaps the fact that she had a view, she was outspoken, maybe bright? Because you often wonder this about so-called witches, whether or not they were being persecuted because actually they were bright and they had a mind of their own and they wanted to express
Well, I think the witchcraft thing's interesting, Ollie. We can't go into that now, but that would be a great subject for another show, because witches were generally not burnt in England. They were burnt in Scotland and in Europe. They were generally hung in England. But the background to the witch trials is quite interesting as well, because when you get people like Matthew Hopkins, there was kind of a cabal of people involved in stealing property. And older women were generally accused of witchcraft for a good reason. It was because they were unpopular, they'd upset somebody, or somebody wanted their property. Quite interesting. Quite interesting when we look at it. And in Essex, there were more witches. There were more women declared witches than anywhere else because of Matthew Hopkins and his cabal, basically. So it was a business plan. So you've hit a good point here. You've hit a good point about Anne Askew, because she was tortured as well, which was illegal at the time. She was taken to the Tower of London. Anne Askew was married to a man called Thomas Kyne, who her sister Martha was betrothed to, but her sister Martha died. Anne Askew was kind of forced to marry him, really. And she had 2 children by him, but she wasn't happy. She ran away. She started proselytizing, which was illegal in public.
She started what?
And she did
what does that mean? Sorry.
Proselytizing, basically reading out the Bible aloud and giving public sermons.
Yeah.
And that was forbidden, especially for women. So you could say she was an early feminist. And she read from the Bible in Lincoln Cathedral, which was absolutely outrageous at the time. It was beyond outrageous that she would do it. So she was quite a handful. So that's why I was attracted to her story, because she was kind of stubborn. She was very intelligent. And I read the examinations of when she was tortured, which was quite difficult to get in this country. I got it as a withdrawn library book, and I think it came from Canada, the examinations of Anne Askew. So what happened basically was she was getting herself into trouble. She was carrying the Tyndale Bible and reading from it. William Tyndale was one of the reformers who basically translated the Bible. I had an argument, well, not an argument, somebody came on to argue with me and said that the Latin Vulgate was the first Bible. Well, of course it wasn't. The Latin Vulgate was just basically putting together the Aramaic and Greek texts of previously, of the Gospels and the Bible, generally, what we know as the Bible.
Yep.
But these people were at the forefront because they were expert translators, and they were really getting their hands on what the Catholic Church didn't want them to get their hands on. So what we have, in effect, is a group of people working from places like Antwerp, bringing in originally handwritten Bibles and having these Bibles distributed. So Anne Askew was part of this network. And that's one of the reasons why she came onto the radar. Also, what interested me about her was she was highly outspoken. So I found that fascinating as well. She was kind of fearless in what she was doing. And it wasn't because she felt she was protected either. And that's also interesting. She had this kind of and strong character and strong faith. And that's what attracted me to looking into her story, because once people were burned as heretics, the Catholic Church believed that they'd done them a favor, that they had been extinguished, body and soul never existed. This is why they were never given graves, which the Jones were.
Mark, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a wee bit there. Breaking up a wee bit there. They were never given graves.
Which is odd,
They were never given graves because of why?
Because a heretic believed that body and soul.
Oh dear.
I don't know whether you.
No, you're breaking up, sir. Mark, you're breaking up. No good. You must be a heretic. They're getting to us. GCHQ.
I think you're
choosing choice. Okay, no, let's try again. Why were they not buried? And what did they do instead with these? Well, heretic is a good word, actually. I thought it was an insult, but if it means choice, then it's a compliment. It's a compliment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Go on. Why were they not buried? And what did they do with them instead?
The Roman Church believed that they would be
Oh dear. We had to have some technical problems, didn't we?
Are we breaking up a bit?
We are a bit, yeah. We are a bit. You know what? I'm going to close a couple of tabs, and maybe that'll help. If you're watching on Facebook, you shouldn't be. And if it's breaking up there, then that I've no idea why, because Facebook just seems to play with this show left, right, and centre. I've reduced the bandwidth on Facebook so that it is now 10% of the quality that it is on YouTube, because I thought at least that way, you might get audio or what have you on Facebook. But if you want to watch this show in high def, good quality and all the rest of it, with the chat as well, to join in, please do, at dailychaos.news /show. And that link is in the description, wherever you are. And I will try and take some comments from YouTube, and I will take some comments from Daily Chaos right now, while hopefully the bandwidth settles down or what have you. So let's see what people have got to say. Jay Carey says the belief is that Captain Smith, who crashed the Titanic into the iceberg, was a Jesuit with a fierce loyalty to the Satanist ideology. I was at school with his grandson, funnily enough. Anyway, he also says J.P. Morgan, who funded the creation of the ship, the Titanic, I think he's talking about, did not sail it because he was sick. I don't know why he's talking about the Titanic, but he is. Henry was a bit of a nasty bloke, says Tanis, using words I can't repeat, and he liked a bit of skirt. she also points out. And the Reformation was in 1518, points out Jay, he believes. And Charlotte is wondering where Rodders is tonight. No idea. He just pops in and out willy-nilly when he wants to, and he's very welcome. But yes, he's probably locked up in the loo, as I think Tanis has pointed out. And Amanda Thompson, many men made their way onto the lifeboats. I've read somewhere, they're talking about the Titanic. I don't know why they're talking about the Titanic, but they are. Anyway, Carlos Rodders is probably locked in the bog. Yeah. Right. So, let's persevere with your audio, Mark. You are sounding a bit like a bit dodgy, sir. Yeah?
Okay, well, it shouldn't be. It's a wide connection. I don't know why it is.
Okay, we'll try again. Okay, so what was it? Because it was a way they couldn't go to heaven, something like that? That they didn't bury them? Or what?
Basically, it would be white. Which are important in this. The burning of heretics in Britain, it really comes from ecclesiastical law. And this is where ecclesiastical law meets. Okay? So ecclesiastical law, papal bulls, meet common law. And that's the.
Right. Oh dear.
So.
Yeah. Not good. Right. Okay. Let's take a few more comments.
I don't know why though.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's you. I think it's just one of those things. I'll tell you what.
Because
I will get rid of a bunch of web tabs, but I don't think that is the issue. Actually,
no.
I don't think that is the issue. As soon as I clicked on the Facebook tab, it went tits up. That really is sod's law, isn't it? But anyway, right. Let's persevere. Mark, can you can hear me? Okay, I'm not breaking up to you. I'll tell you what. Do us a favour, Mark. Turn off your video, and maybe that will make a difference. Let's see if that makes any difference at all.
Okay. You can be better now.
Oh, hold on. What's that? Oh, don't want that. No, don't want that. Get rid of that. Right. Okay. Mark. Yes. Oh, blimey. What a nightmare. Do you ever have these problems on your show? I bet you don't, do you? I bet you don't.
Yeah, quite. I don't know what.
Do you? Yeah? Yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, it's going to be one of those shows. I could put up some solitaire. Have a game of solitaire. If anybody wants to call in, you can do. If you're on the dailychaos.news /show page, there's a link there, and you can call in to the show. But Mark, I don't know. You know what? Maybe. Oh, he's gone. He's trying to call back in. Sensible chap. He knows. He preempted what I was going to say. Let's see what people have got to say over on. Well, I was going to say on YouTube, but guess what? I just closed that tab. Okay. All right. Right. Tanner says they'd burn me or drown me as a witch. I can make money disappear. So my hubby reckons. Yeah. And Jay Carey points out that Mark is talking too much fact now, and suggests maybe we'll take some comments. And Tanner says Mark's gone Dalek on us. Exterminate. And is it warm where you are? Asks Tannis. 28 in my Hobbit. Yeah, where I am in Valencia, it is crazy hot. It's very, very warm. And yeah, that's right. Jay Carey says also Hollywood. Hollywood with a hyphen in the middle. Yeah, because Hollywood denotes it's the wood from the holly tree, which is a kind of a magic wood. The Hollywood is the wood that they make a magician's wand out of, in case any of you didn't know that. Hollywood is a druid type stuff thing involved in witchcraft, which is why you shouldn't be surprised to hear California is the hub of paedophilia and child abuse. And we're going to be doing a show about adrenochrome next week, by the way, with Mel Carlo, possibly on Monday, hopefully on Monday. Amanda Rolfson says, English web connections are very bad. We do not get the same trouble in the Netherlands. Not sure about Spain, Ollie. Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of jumping through hops all over the place, aren't we? This show does with the servers one way and another. So I guess it depends where we are. But yeah, what a pain. Jay Carey, locations matter, just as Alistair Crowley's home is now being reconstructed in Scotland. And Tanis, J Lord, you like your history then? Talking to Jay Carey and Amanda Thompson. Will Mark's connection be any better if the video is off? Yeah, we've tried that. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay, Mark, unmute. Unmute, sir. Unmute. And then hopefully we can have another go. Tanis, I was well in to Jack the Ripper, another resident of Smithfield, more or less, as I understand it. At least they do the walking tours around there, don't they? A few years back.
No, it's Hanway Street.
Yeah.
No, it's Hanway Street.
Ah, is that not Smithfield Way?
It's not very far away, but it's not really that near, no.
Right. Okay. But this area, steeped in history, I suppose all of London is really, though, eh, Mark? I mean, hopefully your audio connection is better now. Let's just get to the bottom. No pun intended.
Okay.
Of these graves, or lack of. Why did they not bury the so-called heretics?
Well, it was believed that they were to be forgotten and they were not meant to have actually existed. They were to be removed body and soul and purged by fire. That was the belief, that the fire would be cleansing. The problem that the Roman Church had was that also the people who became heretics actually did believe the fire would purify them and bring them together with Jesus Christ. So the Roman Church had a real problem, because many people became heretics, and then the heretics became martyrs, which was a nightmare for the Roman Church.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So you are in the process of making a movie about this.
Yes.
I know that you are fascinated and quite an authority on what's going on with, if you like, the deep state, the cabal, the New World Order today. Was that somehow an influence also into looking at this earlier time of, well, we'll discuss the parallels in a second, but how much of that was an influence on researching this particular period and of persecution?
Well, it actually mirrors what's going on at the moment, but obviously things have become a little bit more global since then and better organized. But we're talking about a very similar kind of system in a way. Mm-hmm. In other words, these people were demonized, and it was believed that if enough muck was thrown at them, they would go away. I want to read out Ad Abolendum, the papal bull of 1184.
Abolendum.
Its aim was to abolish diverse, malignant heresies. Ironic, really, because we hear diversity all the time now, don't we? Diversity, well, you know, has been completely misused.
The way you said that, the way you introduced that, it sounds like Twitter's terms of service. Carry on, please. Please carry on.
Exactly. But that resulted in the Albigensian Crusade and the Spanish Inquisition. So that's 1184. That's when it really kicked off.
Mm-hmm.
So the burning of heretics in Britain really came from ecclesiastical law, which was taken on by the state and mixed with common law. So heresy became a common law offence through ecclesiastical courts, which is where it's fascinating. Heretico coram bendo. We need to get onto that, but let's just go through a few preliminary things, because this is very important to actually understand what was going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this papal bull ad abolendum 1184 to abolish diverse malignant heresies. Then in 1215 we had the Fourth Lateran Council, which stated, and this is key to the whole story of heresy, it stated transubstantiation. Now, let me just preface this. Transubstantiation is the belief in the Eucharist, the belief that the bread and wine, when administered by a priest, becomes the literal flesh and blood of Jesus Christ. Now, this is what the reformers had a huge problem with. Transubstantiation was the main reason that people were burnt at the stake, for denying that bread and wine turned into Jesus Christ. I'm being a little crude and vulgar with my interpretation here, but basically that's the short point and the essence of it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you did not believe that the middleman, the minister, was not the intermediary between you and God, then you would be burned as a heretic. But transubstantiation, the belief that bread and wine, when administered by a priest, became the literal flesh and blood of Jesus Christ, if you did not believe that, that was heresy, and you would be burned to death.
Good
now,
Lord.
So this is the Fourth Lateran Council 1215, which actually established this. Transubstantiation, a doctrine by which the bread and wine offered as a sacrament in the Eucharist becomes the actual blood and body of Christ, was infallibly defined. To deny that was heresy. So that's fascinating.
Do you
fascinating stuff.
Do you think, I don't know if there's any way to know this for sure, but do you believe that the people that made those laws actually believed in that? Frankly, tooth fairy nonsense. I'm not denigrating faith here, but to suggest that that's the case is illogical. To suggest that one should believe it outright is an insult to God-given intelligence.
Well, it's also an insult, Ollie, that people believe the government and walk around with masks on their faces when all of the evidence for the last 3 months has been freely available to the public. So belief is a very strange thing. And what we're talking about here more than anything else is power, which is exactly the same as going on now.
Yeah.
So in other words, the new heresy would be not wearing a mask, even though there's no point in wearing one. So let's go forward a bit. Unum Sanctum, Papal Bull of 1302. This made us all property of the Roman Church. And it took away our dominion over the earth. We became creatures. Previous to that, we had dominion over everything and everything that creepeth on the earth, says so in the Bible. Whether you believe that or not is irrelevant. That's what it says. That was their belief. So what happened in 1302 with Unum Sanctum, the Papal Bull, was that everything on the earth, including the earth itself, was put into trust to the Holy Roman Empire, and the beneficiaries of that were the Roman Church and the priesthood. The trustees were the disciples, the pilgrims, and the believers. So the beneficiaries were basically the councils of the elect. Doesn't matter whether they were the local councils or the church councils, the councils of Rome. They were the benefactors. So this was a very clever move, because it put the whole world into trust under the Holy Roman Empire, and nobody had made this claim before. So a claim is legally something that is not necessarily true, right? If you look at the meaning of claim, a claim is something doesn't have to be true. It just has to be believed that it could be true, and then it's a claim, right? So they made this absurd claim in 1302, and they said there is one universal church of the faithful, outside of which there is absolutely no salvation. So that means you're either with us or you're with the terrorists, right? It's exactly the same as now.
Yeah.
So what they did was demonized everybody who was outside the universal church. This was a very big thing at the time because the universal church now includes the Church of England. So then we have to look at what really the Roman Empire, the Vatican, was really about. But it went on, it says, we declare, we proclaim, and we define that it is absolutely necessary for salvation that every human creature be subject to the Roman pontiff. A human creature is not a divine human being anymore. They're a creature. A creature is a monster. A creature is something that does not have divinity. Therefore, they rebranded us as animals within this papal bull, which meant that we would be subservient to them because they're the priest class, they're the administrators. Now, many heretics saw the Pope as the Antichrist, and we have the opening of that trailer stroke sampler. You can see Thomas Cranmer, Archbishop of Canterbury, saying, and as for the Pope, I denounce him as Antichrist. Now, that was an absolutely shocking thing at that time. And he said that before he was burnt to death. Of course, Archbishop Thomas Cranmer compiled the book of English prayer, was one of the main people of the Reformation, and his story is fascinating. That's why we included it, because a lot of what Thomas Cranmer instigated was all connected and interconnected to what happened in Smithfield. Indeed, he spent time in Smithfield. He was actually trying to get one of the heretics in our film to abjure, a lady called Joan Bocher. I think she was burned in 1550. And she was an Anabaptist. Joan Bocher was an Anabaptist. Yeah, 1550. Sorry. Yes, Joan Bocher. No. Yes, 1550. Yeah, she was born in about 1490. Yeah.
What's an Anabaptist?
An Anabaptist is an evangelical Christian. They actually believed in things like, it's interesting actually, because they were kind of early communists in some ways, because they didn't believe in ownership of property. So the Anabaptists were mainly, they came over from Holland. A lot of them were Dutch, the Anabaptists, and they obviously did not believe in the Eucharist. So Joan Bocher, it's alleged, she was actually known as Joan of Kent, Joan Bocher, and she was an older woman. I think she was over 50 when she was burned, and it was stated by some people in some texts that she was insane. But the thing is, there's an interesting thing going on here, because when you look into things like even more recently, like the Welsh revival of the 1800s, a lot of these people became possessed by something, and this fervor took over them. So they became, to outsiders, probably looking really insane. So she was probably over enthusiastic with her beliefs, but a lot of them say, well, poor Joan Bocher, poor insane Joan Bocher was burned at the stake. So I decided to have her in the film because we didn't have an Anabaptist. What I didn't want to do was make any kind of film that was propagandized or political. Therefore, I didn't have all Protestants being burned, even though most Protestant, mostly they were Protestants who were burned. So I thought I'd bring up the Anabaptist, and we have a Franciscan friar, Friar John Forrest, and we feature him in the film. Okay. So he went directly against Henry, even wrote against Henry in prison. But what's interesting about this, Ollie, there's a common thread with all these people, that there was something malevolent going on in the background which instigated all this. So It wasn't, in most cases, just their beliefs that got them on the radar. There was other things got, especially in the case of John Forrest, because he was writing against Henry. He sounds like they all sound like fascinating people, you see, Ollie. That was the reason I made the film, because these people were fascinating. They were the sort of people I would think I'd like to talk to them down the pub. You know what I mean? They were those sort of people because of the intensity of their belief and the intensity of their conviction to go through with what they believed in. That is very highly unusual, especially now, because people don't believe in anything. They have a very superficial belief system, which enables the state to take even more power from them. So these people were saying, no, you're not taking our power away. If you burn us, that makes us martyrs. Whether you believe this or not, this is what they believed. And what they said before they got burned at the stake was incredible. The bravery of these people was unbelievable, because obviously Fox's Book of Martyrs reported a lot of this, but we're going slightly. I just wanted to go.
Well, no, hold on,
into this.
Mark. Before you carry on, let's play a clip. Let's play a bit of a clip. This is a bit of the trailer to the film. Yeah, so let's have a quick look at this.
Play it from the beginning, Ollie. That'd be great.
Well, writing contrary to my heart.
Well, okay. You think from the beginning? All right.
Yeah, definitely.
It's quite
think
long.
From the beginning.
It's quite long.
No, you don't have to play it all. Play it in 2 bits, because that beginning bit is very important.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks, Ollie.
All right.
Cheers. Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah. Let's have a look.
And as for the Pope, I refuse him as Christ's enemy and Antichrist with all his false doctrine.
Us they may burn, but our cause, religion and doctrine they will never vanquish. Just outside the London Wall, on the eastern bank of the River Fleet, lies the Smoothfield. In the 1500s, during the reign of Henry VIII to Mary I, hundreds of heretics were burnt at the stake, at least 65 in Smithfield. I will pay my vows to thee, O Smithfield. After the fire of Smithfield, hell doth receive them, where the wretches burn forever. Oh, you papists, behold, you wish for a miracle, and here now you see a miracle, for in the fire I feel no pain. The City Corporation has approved the building of a substantial stage in Smithfield for the King's councillors, Lord Mayor and Aldermen, to sit at the execution of the condemned heretics, whom shall be burned at the cost of this city.
Like as the armed knight appointed to the field, with thy's world will I fight, and faith shall be my shield. Faith is that weapon strong, which will not fail at need. My foes therefore among, therewith will I proceed.
That was those three names there, wasn't it? Phil Pott and the other two, John Bradford.
John Bradford. Bradford was one of the reformers who was involved with the Bible, and his story is fascinating. He had about nine children, and his wife just had a baby.
Hold on, Mark. You've got the browser audio on, haven't you? Have you got the browser audio on?
No, it's the same as it was before.
Oh no, hold on a sec. Let's play a bit more. And we'll try and work your audio out in a sec.
I find in the registers of London the names of divers men and women, troubled, persecuted, and imprisoned by the proud, cruel, and bloody rage of the Catholic seat. William Sawtrey, Joan Borton, John Tewkesbury, James Bainham, John Frith, Andrew Hewitt, Friar Forrest, John Nicholson, Robert Barnes, William Jerome, John Bradford, John Philpott, Thomas Whittle, Bartlett Green, Joan Bocher, Thomas Brown, Isabel Forster, Joan Ward.
There is one God, one faith, one spiritual authority. There is one universal church of the faithful, outside of which there is absolutely no salvation.
Transubstantiation, a doctrine by which the bread and wine offered as a sacrament in the Eucharist becomes the actual blood and body of Christ, was infallibly defined. To deny this was heresy. Heretico Corumbendo, 1401, that this wicked sect, preachings, doctrines and opinions should henceforth cease and be utterly destroyed.
Right. So the bottom line is they were all mad.
Who was mad?
The people that reckoned that this was all about God. I mean, they were either mad or psychotic.
In what respect?
Well, I mean, how could you believe that a piece of bread and a cup of wine had anything to do with anything apart from a piece of bread and a cup of wine? Really?
Yes. It's interesting, Olly, because this was kind of elevated into a belief. And when you strip it down to what it actually was, academics will argue that the heretics were not arguing correctly because the ecclesiastical argument was somehow clever. But you've just nailed it. No, it wasn't. It wasn't clever.
Hold on, Mark. I haven't nailed the audio though.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you twice. I couldn't hear you once earlier, and now I can hear you twice, and I've got no idea because I haven't changed anything. I've changed nothing, people.
Well, I haven't either.
Look, Mark, do me a favour. Call me straight back on Zoom. I'll take some comments and call me straight back on Zoom. I do apologise. I don't know why this is. God bless you.
Okay, not to worry.
Oh, blimey. I'll tell you what a pain, yeah? What a pain. It's probably because I've just committed heresy or something. I'm sorry! You know what? If you're not a comedian, I don't give a stuff. Right. Because apparently you are, because look at the state of the place. Amanda Thompson says, what did I watch the other night? Lots of laughs. Woman in a white frock singing. Yeah, she was. Now what you done? Ollie asks Amanda Thompson. Tanis can't remember. Might have been someone or other talking to Bird. That's probably Charlotte. Everyone's calling each other Bird around here these days. Jay Carey, they had lead poisoning. Lots of lot. They had some kind of poisoning of the brain or whatever. I don't know. We're still getting feedback here, Ollie. Yes, so was I. Tell him, William Plonk. God bless you, mate. Good to see you in the house. Tell him to refresh, he says. That's what I should have done, isn't it? I should have asked him to refresh the page. Have you got Facebook open too? Or has Mark also got his Facebook open? I did ask him. He said he didn't have his web page unmuted or what have you. So anyway, there you go. Oh, blimey. What a pain in the arse, eh? Right. Good. Daily chaos. I haven't had any chaos for at least a day. And so it was about time we had a good spot of chaos, was it not? And all that. Steve B is asking about Kanye West. Yeah, have you heard about that? Yeah. Apparently, he reckons that, what's her name? Kardashian, with the transcontinental bottom, is not God's gift after all. And apparently he's trying to divorce her. And this is the guy who's running for president. And she's now saying he's bipolar. So we've got 2 people running for president. One of them apparently is bipolar. And the other one has got Alzheimer's or something. Or is that me? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, great. Doing really well. I just looking forward to those presidential debates. Don't know about you. LaBelle, I never liked that. Bread turning into flesh and wine into blood. That's like being a cannibalistic vampire. Oh, LaBelle, they didn't have any vegans in those days. Oh, no. Actually, probably largely they did because they couldn't afford any meat. Kenneth Noel Curran says again and again and again, echo. Yes. And better drinking wine than drinking blood, says Kenneth Noel Curran as well. Will Kanye West help take votes off the Democrats? Asked Steve B. We were asking this ourselves last night on the show, Portland show, which is a very fascinating show to watch, actually, with Timothy Otto Hill joining Boozy and me from Portland, Timothy, discussing things like that. Very, very interesting indeed. Worth having a look. He's hiding in the cellar of Kardashian. Lots of loves, says LaBelle, regarding, I think, either Mark Windows or possibly Rodders, who lives in the toilet, actually, as I understand it. But anyway, with the lights off or what have you. Thomas More wrote Utopia, says LaBelle. An interesting book. And she also says, but isn't the EU the contingency of the Roman Empire? Yeah, as I understand, the accumulation of Roman law, which is not particularly conducive to Protestant law or whatever. She also says that's what the EU keeps saying. No country can exist on its own in today's time. Well, they're a pillar of global government, aren't they? That's what Jacques Delors said. It's a cornerstone to global government. That is what they want. And why does the EU flag have 12 yellow stars, asks LaBelle. Well, originally, I think there were, was it 12 members? Was it something to do with that or something like that? But there weren't, were there? There were more like 5 or 6 originally. I don't know. Who cares? Bugger the EU. They're imploding all on their lonesome. David Leaves Conte says the T cells are the real stars of the immune system. Antibodies are the soldiers and are short-lived. T cells protect you for a lifetime. They memorize every virus you come into contact with and when. Yeah, kind of a historical record as I understand it. Yes, David. And he also says, detect a virus, they order the appropriate antibodies to kill the infection. The best vaccines only achieve around 70% success rate with many other complications if you are infected with this virus. Yeah, there you go. Right. Don't know where Mark is. No idea where Mark is. He's got lost in the ether, which is obviously a pity. What a cock up tonight, huh? What a cock up. One technical mishap after another. Anybody fancy a bit more, I don't know, Winston McKenzie or something? I could play a bit more of his having a chat or whatever. I've closed my news tabs. So because I was trying to reduce the memory footprint on this machine. And so I can't tell you what's going on anywhere like that. I'll tell you one thing that is going on though, in case you were unaware. Donald Trump has told the Chinese to bugger off out of Houston. Their consulate in Houston, the Chinese, have had to leave it. They were busy burning, talk about burning witches, whatever. They were busy burning the books, burning all the papers in the courtyard. They caught it on drone footage. I saw it on Twitter earlier. Must be true. But yes, the Chinese are being given a real hard time, thank goodness, by Donald Trump, and quite right, yeah, quite right, yeah. We've got chaos coming. I guess that's Jay. Jay. Yeah, you've got to unmute, mate. There you go. Yeah.
Ollie.
Oh no, not you too.
Not me. What's wrong?
No, you're fine. You're fine. You're echoing. I've got two of you.
Have you got the window playing video?
I haven't done anything, you know. No. If so, I'd be able to hear myself back twice as well, wouldn't I?
True. I don't know. Check your equalizer.
Look, I'll tell you what. I will try that.
I'm a code fighter.
Let me restart my audio engine, in other words, the sound card, and just see if this makes a difference.
Yes, and I'm echoing.
No difference.
Echo.
Yeah. Jay?
Yep, still there.
You're coming in on 2 faders. Right.
Turn one off.
No, that's no good. What about now?
What about now? Good?
No. No good. Let me just
it was I can hear myself now.
You can hear yourself? Yeah, that's not it. I apologise for this, people. Just, maybe make a quick cup of tea, something like that. Need to, I don't know. I didn't do anything. I promise you, I was not touching my knob.
It was okay until you played it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was that bird, wasn't it, singing in the middle of the street. It was
the bird broke your sound card.
Oh no, Mark. Obviously, he's gone. He's had it.
Mark must be on Wi-Fi because I've had that problem a few times when I spoke to him.
He's had what?
Yep. He's had that problem with his connection quite a few times, especially when he's on his show. Yeah. Speaks some Sky as well. He must have a Wi-Fi.
Oh, he's probably getting routed through GCHQ or something.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, when he starts talking about the witches burning, that's when it's like breaking up.
Canis says, J Lord, start yodeling. And you sound like you are yodeling, actually. Yeah, I could join you actually. I could do some of this. And then hello. And then we can both do
the voices.
We can do some silly stuff like that. Might as well completely cock up. The show's completely cocked up, so we might as well do something different with it. And just play with the tech because nothing is working, and so let's just completely bugger everything up.
The new world order.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There you go. Right. Hold on. It hasn't gone back to normal. Hasn't gone back to normal. It's still. Hold on. Now I tried. Oh no. Oh no. Hold on. Oh no.
Are we echoing?
Is that better?
Are we echoing now?
There we go. That's better. Is that better?
We fixed it.
Is it better? Oh yeah. I'm over there.
I don't know. Can't hear me.
I'm over there. Hello. Oh, hey, wait, keep up. I'm over here. Right, okay. I don't know if you've got stereo, you'll have got the joke there. If you don't have stereo or headphones on, you won't get the joke. Right, good, fine, great. Well, William Plonk is having fun. I'm laughing my balls off here. Lots of laugh. Amanda Thompson, now he's on helium. Ollie, did you do something when the show music came on? And there we go. Right, okay. Jay. How's the show going, mate? How's the site going? What's going on with the site?
The site's still there.
Still there.
You've got quite a few members now. You've got over 100, I think. I checked last time. I put a few posts in there. But we need to get more people to post. Come on, we're not the only ones to do this. We need people to send us news. 113 members, 134 topics, 225 posts.
Right, hold on. Let me try something. Let me try this. Let me see if this helps.
I thought you fixed it.
Oh, hold on. No. Oh, blimey. Hold on. Right. That's no better, is it? That's the same.
I don't know. Someone said no echoing. Amanda said no echoing about a minute ago.
I haven't done anything, people. I haven't done anything. Right. I'm going to do something really dramatic. I'm going to close all the browsers, because I shouldn't need them to stream. Shouldn't need any of them. So I'm going to close all of them and see if that solves the audio issue. Just out of interest.
Whatever you do with no tabs.
If we get cut off, well, we won't. But if we did, see you tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to shut them all and see if that makes any difference. Does that make any difference, Jay?
I don't know.
No.
Chat, does it make any difference?
Doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference. Look, let's get to the bottom of this at least. Just out of interest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to close down Zoom and then reopen it. Can you please give me 30 seconds and then go back in gov.ly/Zoom. Yeah?
Yep.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to shut down Zoom. I'm basically shutting down everything that I can. Shutting down everything. I don't even know if I'm streaming. I know I'm streaming. I can see on the streaming software thing that I'm streaming. But yeah, right. Okay. So let's just see if this is going to make any difference. I'm going to shut down Skype. What a pain. You know what? I'll tell you. The tech. All I want to do is think about the questions. I was a bit frazzled when the show started tonight, let alone having problems with the tech as well. Yeah, the truth is that I had a glass of wine before I ate my dinner tonight, and it went straight to my head. That's why I was a bit frazzled before the show. But the tech was all set up, and it was fine. So, hey. Anyway, right, okay. So I'm going to reopen Zoom, and then start another meeting, and then Jay can call in again, or maybe Mark, and we'll see if that makes any difference on this echo thing out of interest. So we are now in a production meeting. This is no longer heretics. This is now a production meeting to try and work out why my tech is so crap. Yes. Maybe that's what I should do. Well, I suppose it is what I do. Daily tech, daily chaos. Yep. Okay. Jay, please unmute. Please unmute.
Yeah.
Hello?
Good.
No, it's the same.
Someone said it was after you hit the show music.
It's weird. I didn't... after I hit the show music. You're right. I played a bit of show music by mistake, didn't I? I did something like this. That's right. Now that could be a clue. That could be a clue. Jay? You're better now.
There we go. See? Fixed.
Why would that be the case?
I don't
Why?
know.
Look, you reckon you know everything? Why is that the case?
It moves in mysterious ways, Ollie.
Moves my bowels. Tell you that.
Challenges to overcome.
Blimey. I'll tell you what.
Anyway,
you better be a comedian. You better be a comedian. Hey?
As I was saying before, the Reformation 1518, then we had 400 years of pandemics. And then we had the... that's why I was talking about the Titanic. I was talking about the Federal Reserve Act. And
yeah, but what's that got to do with... What's that got to do with the
1518 Reformation?
1518?
Yeah, the Reformation when the
and then 1918. Yeah. No, Titanic was what? 1912?
1911. Was it 1911? No, the Federal Reserve Act. Yeah, that's
when did
1912.
that? And well, hold on. Okay, let's work this backwards. The Federal Reserve Act was the year after the Titanic sank, or the same year, the year after. That was 1913. 1913, yes. The Titanic went down in 1912.
And then 8 months later, after the Federal Reserve Act was signed, we had World War One.
Yeah. So, what are you saying in relation to?
I'm saying that they couldn't start wars that were profitable unless they controlled the money.
What's that got to do with the heresy thing?
I know that's what you're going to say. I was saying because I was going back to the 1518 Reformation and the rewriting of history by the Jesuits. And then we had the Black Plague first,
The Black Death.
16, or the Black Death, the Black Plague.
People going around looking like, I don't know, yeah.
And then we had bubonic, didn't we? Bubonic, influenza. You know, we had a lot of
Was the
pandemics.
bubonic thing, was that not the same as the Black Death? Bubonic?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
It was, wasn't it?
Help
But
me
there
out,
were a
chap.
few, actually, weren't there? It's just one was quite well known because it was the big
Yeah,
one.
the Black
Killed
Death, everyone knows
a
the
lot
Black
of
Death.
people, Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but
it was
just saying,
common, wasn't it?
they came every 100 years, didn't they?
Yeah, but man, this theory,
Depopulation, that's what it was.
I've read people saying that there's a kind of, I don't know, some sort of a theory about this thing happens every 100 years and that it is somehow facilitated. That sounds to me a bit far-fetched. I can understand how that's done now, and I really do wonder if this thing came out of that Wuhan laboratory, for example, and frankly was a kind of a modern-day bio-warfare. I don't know. But back then, that sounds a bit far-fetched.
It does sound a bit far-fetched, but they rewrote history, so how would you know? From 1518, you could have had loads before that.
I'll give you a theory. Because you know how if you, I don't know, read a bit of Zechariah Sitchin or someone like that, you read about the Sumerians, their tablets. They wrote about these spacemen came down and they were crossing genes of, I don't know, megalithic man or something or whatever, Neolithic, with their own to create a kind of a slave race. And they reckon that some people reckon that might be the missing link, which is a fascinating idea. And if that is the case, and we had that kind of alien interference, then, well, they might have been quite good at introducing a virus here and there.
They say that the Noah's Ark story, where you got two of every animal, it's a bit too literal. They're talking more about DNA as opposed, because how would you get every animal on board a ship?
Be a big ship.
Well, that's where you've got a pretty big ship, to get every single animal. So you've got millions of the species. But if you get DNA, it's not as big. It doesn't need to be as big, does it? Like the DNA of each animal.
That's right. Yeah, a bit like a seed bank, gene bank.
Yeah, exactly.
And then,
on water.
Yeah. So they reckon some folks that whole Noah's Ark thing, the Great Flood, that was a polar shift. And that's why there was a big old slush about. And, Noah got his boat, put his giraffes in it, and survived polar shift.
Today they wouldn't have that, would they? They'd have same-sex animals.
Yeah, they'd have to, trans
giraffes.
Trans rhinos.
And non-conforming gender elephants.
Yeah, you gotta look after your tranny elephants, I suppose.
I'm sure that'd save the species, wouldn't it?
Yeah, good on the tranny elephants. Right.
Anyway,
okay.
The Kanye West thing, Daily Fail started the article with Kanye West, who is suffering from bipolar disorder, said that Michael Jackson
that's their top story tonight, isn't it? Daily Fail. Kanye West, bipolar. Yeah, she's got quite a bipolar bottom. She's got a bipolar bottom. In fact, you know what? Her bum is so big that it'll work a compass. Carry on. Sorry, Jay. Please.
No, I wasn't talking about the bipolar bit. I was just saying they actually reminded you of that. Just like when Piers Corbyn actually talks out against face masks, they always report him as saying Jeremy Corbyn's brother. As if to, kind of equate him to Jeremy Corbyn. Like, why is a Labour person going against liberal democracy or liberal values? But they've done the same with Kanye West. They said suffering from bipolar before he even got to the bit where he said that Michael Jackson, he says, was murdered by, I can't remember who it was now, but he said some wild conspiracy theory that Michael Jackson was murdered.
What is it? What does it tell us? What does it tell us? Yeah, hold on. Let me pull this up so that folks can see what I'm looking at here. I don't know if they can. Yeah, maybe they can if I do something like that. I'll just cock something else up. This is where the audio goes all whatnot again, probably. Look at this. What does it tell us? That is that John Craven? Is he back on the telly?
Hold on. Can you make astonishing claim my speaking out about
Let me just try.
Did it go off?
It did. It's gone all peculiar again. Hold on. Let me just. Oh, where's that mixer? Ah, blimey! I so need a desk producer. Right. Let me just. Let me just. Ah, blimey! Let me just do.
It's just kind of lip read.
Right. Okay. I've dealt with that now. I've dealt with that. I think. Right. There's a delay.
It's just kind of lip read.
Bear in mind. Right. But now. But now we've got your echo again. I think. I apologise to that, people. Delay. I was trying to get rid of his echo, and that. Bear in mind. Right. But now.
No. Now you got a loop. Right,
I just got rid of the loop. That's because I opened the browser tabs back up, and then we got a loop.
We got now.
I give up. I don't know what to do, people. I mean, all I'm trying to do is have a chat with people, and I get all these audio issues. Audio is the bane of my life. The video is simple. The audio is an absolute. Get rid of the pic. She says, get rid of the pic. Don't you want to see pictures of the Kardashian family? Don't you realise how important they are?
Oh,
God!
I hate.
Oh, it's incredible.
I hate celebrity stuff. It makes me feel like I need to, it's something like soap. I don't need to know about them.
Park at that. J, we got 2 J's. Now, what happened a second ago? What did we do? Oh, I did this. Let me try this again. Let me try this trick again. So what I did this. I did this. And then I did this. And your echo went. And this time.
Yep. No. Maybe. Gone.
Yes. Better. Why? Why? Why
so
is that?
You can't have tabs open. That's not good.
No, it wasn't that. Let's do it again. Right. So I'm just going to play a bit of music from the show archive thing, the intro, I think, something like that. We're going to play a bit of that. And get rid of it. Oh no, yes. And now you should be echoing.
Echo?
He's not echoing this time.
I'm not echoing. So it wasn't the intro music at all?
The other thing I did was open a tab. Let's open a tab. See what happens to that. Okay, I'm going to need a roller tab in a sec, I tell you. Right, I've just opened a tab. Does that make any difference?
I don't know, does it?
I don't know. We got some today's top video. Some, I don't know, man beats Yob after they mock him for his feminine bag. That's lovely. I don't really give a damn. You know what? I mean, that's not nice, but I don't really give a damn. Daily Mail. I mean, you know what? We've got people running the world that want to start World War III. That's a new story. Some bloke's got a feminine bag or something. Right, you're not echoing, Jay.
Good. Now we can talk. Are we good now? Are we good, Amanda?
I don't know what that was. And that's the worst of it. There's no rhyme nor reason to the gremlins in the system. I don't know. Maybe Peter Mandelson is, on a proxy somewhere out in the ether, controlling my PC or something. I don't know. Okay, right. What's the latest with Ghislaine Maxwell? She dead yet?
No, she's not. No, she's she keeps saying that she's going to be killed. Obviously, she will be saying that. But no, she's not really. She's still waiting trial, isn't she? And unbelievably, right. Even with the coronavirus, we've got to wait till next year for the hearing.
What? Oh, really? Really?
July 2021.
Really? Till July 2021.
This is a joke. You wouldn't even get that in America. The horrible justice system. You wouldn't wait a year to be tried for something like that.
Plenty of time to knock her off, isn't it? Before it actually goes to trial. And also, I guess there's a lot of people hoping that their, kind of deep state savior, Joe Biden, will get elected, and then she will get knocked off.
She'll get pardoned then. She'll get a pardon just like Obama did with his corrupt AG.
Run for vice president. Yeah, I don't know.
Apparently, they're saying the running mate for Biden is going to be Michelle Obama, or Michael Obama, should we say?
Oh no.
And they're actually saying, I don't know why Sky News Australia is saying this, because they're usually on the right side, but they're saying it'll be a landslide for Democrats if Michelle Obama takes over from Biden.
Yeah. You know what?
I don't see it.
Here we go. This is what's going on with that. Let's see if this cocks up Jay's audio now. Who knows? Maybe it will. This is the deal with. Oh, now, yeah, there you go. Right. So Breitbart, Joe Biden says we'll take questions from reporters at another time. Nearly a month. Oh yeah, there you go. Jay, you're echoing again. After that is
because you opened Breitbart.
Because I opened up bloody Joe bloody Biden. Now, say again.
Right click on the tab and click mute. Right click on the tab and click mute. Maybe there's something on there that's messing with you.
I don't want to mute you, mate. I want to get your input. What?
Not me. The Breitbart tab.
No, it's
on your browser.
Yeah, but hold on a sec. Hold on. Try this. Try this. See if this works. What a pain in the neck. What a pain!
Well, it was the audience.
Oh, it's even worse. Right, okay. So, look, get this, yeah. Joe Biden says, we'll take questions from reporters at another time. Nearly a month. I mean, this guy, he's another one in the basement. Maybe he's in the basement with Mark Windows and Rodders, Viscount Davids. They're all in the basement together.
He's not held a speech for 89 days. And he's going to have to debate Trump because they want, evenly.
There's not going to be any debates. There will not be any debates. No way. Right. Joe Biden continued to limit his exposure to reporters on Tuesday when he finished a speech and said he would take questions at another time because the presidential candidate's brain is missing. Let's just have a listen. Just have a listen. Hold on, Jake. Hold on.
I look forward to having your questions at another time, but I'm off to another event. Thank you, Principal.
You're decrepit. You're a dementia candidate. You shouldn't be running for office. You should be running into a nursing home. Hold on a sec. Listen to this again.
Thank you for listening. I look forward to having your questions at another time, but I'm off to another event. Thank you, Principal. Thank you for having us here. Appreciate it very, very much. Thank you, Senator.
I mean, he looks so frail. He hasn't got his earpiece in. That's right. Thank you for listening. I look forward to hearing your questions at another time after the election when they've stolen it, and I'm off to another event. He walked off into a smattering of applause and a reporter shouting a question in vain. On July the 14th, journalists tried and failed to get the presumptive Democrat nominee to answer questions.
He's got to run to the next one. If we forget what he's got to say.
Mr. Vice President, time for a few questions.
No, he's not going to answer any questions, mate. He's off to see his, cognitive advisor or something. Imagine if that was Trump, yeah? Imagine if that was Trump. The BBC today, they were running a story in the UK about the fact that Donald Trump was reading something as opposed to just saying it. They were all over the fact he's reading it now because he doesn't trust his own mouth. All of that. That bloke who's running for president, doesn't do a press conference in months, has no exposure, is living in a basement, and the BBC's like, shh. You know what? Projectile vomit. Sorry.
When you put pick up J.A. Echoes.
When I what?
When you put pick up J.A. Echoes. How's that
pick up
possible?
Pick up.
Am I echoing now?
Yeah, I've just stopped it. No, I just stopped it.
So he's going to have to run to the next debate because he'll forget what he's going to say on the way. Yeah, when you ask him about stat scores, he looks up at the sky, thinking about satellites. Yeah, he's not fit. I mean, I remember in 2018, was it, when the BBC and all the other media started saying Trump wasn't fit for presidency and he had a mental illness. And look at Biden; it's blindly obvious to anyone that he doesn't have a clue. Have you ever seen him chide numbers? 750 million people died. Yeah, there's not even 750 million in America.
Yeah, he did say something like that. Yeah.
And then he said 150 million women have died or something, or abortions. He gets his numbers completely mixed up. It's funny, but people are actually backing him. I can't understand it. It's like the world's gone mad. Yeah, you ever feel like that? You ever feel like watching TV and you think you're seeing all the polls that are stonking majority for Biden? You're thinking, what the hell is wrong with people? I mean,
well, they're doing a survey on a campus of Berkeley University or something. I mean, it's just the samples are a few hundred people for a start, and they're all people that may or may not vote. They're not like registered voters or anything like that. That's what I've read. Anyway, it sounds
it's like a repeat of 2016. You remember 2016 when they trundled all those celebrities around saying, "Oh, Trump's going to be president." Ha ha, no chance. And then the media says 15% likelihood that Trump will become president of the United States, and all of them were saying the same thing. And then he became the president. So maybe you shouldn't listen to media.
Yeah. Are you having a cup of tea? You're having a cup of tea?
And polls as well. Polls are bollocks. I mean, yeah, I can say that now because we're after 10, aren't we? Yeah, polls are rubbish. All they do is, if they can't find one that says what they want it to say, they'll make one up and then call it an internal poll.
Poor old
what was
Mark.
that
Yeah, poor old Mark Williams, Windows. Poor Mark. He gave up, didn't he? He gave up. He thought, I can't be dealing with this anymore.
Well, he got to pitch his show, didn't he? That was good enough. To pitch his.
I'll have to invite him back. That was from the point of view of my guest. I don't think it could have been a worse show, really. Everything went wrong, pretty much.
Yeah, but his bandwidth wasn't your fault.
No, that's true. That's true. But I mean, oh dear. Anyway, yeah. No, it's all a bit of a joke, isn't it? That Biden bloke is a complete joke. Let's just have a quick look, see what else is going on, just for the hell of it.
You know, how long we got left now? Sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 4 months left. Just you can see how crazy it's going to get.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What is it? October surprise? Is it they call it? Oh goodness knows what's going to happen there. I just hope
the coronavirus is going to spike. Well, obviously it's going to spike because it's the flu season.
Well, it isn't, is it? Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
October,
flu
November,
season
December.
maybe starts in November. No.
Not for you, but I mean in the UK and maybe the US.
In the States. In the States. I mean, flu season really kicks in towards Christmas. No.
Depends where it depends where you are in the US, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well,
in the UK, we get winter sometime in August.
Yeah.
It's crazy around here. We don't get much of a summer at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's going to get crazier because look at Lightfoot, or Lightweight as I like to call her, the Chicago mayor, who's saying that she doesn't want interference, and she's basically going for the Seattle Chaz movement again, even though that's got 4 people killed, in 3 weeks. There's 4 people shot, 1 black person, 1 black kid killed in 3 weeks. But Lightfoot's saying, no, we don't want Trump's troops. He's calling Trump's troops, but it's the National Guard. They're not even Trump's. They're American. They're American to protect federal buildings. Yeah,
you drinking a cup of tea?
I'm drinking a coffee. But and it's funny how all these states are Democrat. I mean, that could say 2 things. It could be.
Would you mind not slurping on the show?
I'm not slurping now. I just had a sip.
You slurped. You went like this. You went.
Normally.
You went.
Well, normally my mic doesn't pick up.
And then you burped. Right. Okay. We'll finish the show on a happy note, potentially, according to Breitbart. Report: UK close to abandoning Brexit EU deal. Will likely leave bloc fully in December. Will likely. That language is not positive enough for me. I thought it was in the bag.
Likely.
According to apparently. Anyway, the United Kingdom may, it just says may. What's with this language? Properly depart the European Union on December the 31st, as voted for by the British people way back in 2016. That's a lie. We voted to leave then, not 4 years later, 4.5 actually, as negotiations to sign a deal that would see the nation keep links to Brussels in the future falters, a British newspaper has claimed. While Britain and the EU are presently in talks to achieve an agreement on a future relationship between the two parties, progress appears to have stalled as Brussels remains wedded to an ideal that would keep Britain tied to the bloc and under its control in several areas. Likewise, the British team is keeping up the pressure on achieving a much looser relationship where London and there's nothing we don't know. This is their top story for the UK. Now a report in British broadsheet, the Daily Telegraph, probably the closest UK newspaper to the government in terms of access to senior figures, cites unnamed ministers who it claims believe the deal will not be signed at all. If that were to come to pass, the United Kingdom would leave the European Union fully and without condition on December the 31st, 2020, trading with the bloc on standard World Trade Organization rules. No names. This is nothing. It's a nothing burger story. No names cited. No names. I'm sorry, Breitbart. Breitbart, that is pathetic. I was hoping for a positive, we're going to get Brexit story, and you deliver. It might as well be the Daily Express, mate. Might as well be the Daily Bloody Express. What a load of old cock. Jay,
experts say.
Do you think we're going to get Brexit on the 31st?
No.
Why not?
I think this whole thing was actually done because of to get Donald Trump out of office, put Biden in, and then cancel the deal that we're supposed to make with the US.
No trade deal. Yeah, that's right. Back of the queue, and then Boris goes, "Oh, better have another transition, another extension. Better do that." Yeah.
And it'll just keep going on and on and on until we can have another referendum.
Yeah, war down, wear them down, wear down the plebs. Blah de blah de blah. Makes you want to puke. What can you do?
You can see that the agreement we made 40 odd years ago was a bad one, but they didn't give you a chance to change it though, did they?
Yeah, you can't hear that, can you? You can't hear the out music, can you?
No.
Of course not.
I can see.
Of course you can't.
Thanks.
Why on earth would anything work?
Thanks for watching.
That's it. I'm closing the show, Jay. God bless you. Hang around though, because I'm going to try something. Everybody that persevered with the show tonight, didn't you have anything better to do? I feel I must apologise for the British government.
Why do you need to apologise for?
What?
You should apologise to David Lammy, who just said he get 300,000 people into London. Migration.
That guy's a racist. He's a nasty piece of work.
He always goes on about blacks. Why is it always black people in Congress and all that?
Yeah.
Always talk about black people.
These people need to get over it. Do you know what I mean? Most of us don't give a stuff about skin colour. Do you know what I mean?
No, we don't say we're white, do we? We say we're British, American.
No, that's right. And by the way, they're brown and we're pink. You know, they're not black and we're not white. I mean, you can't even get that right. Right. Okay. I was going to try something. Yeah, that's right. I was going to play with my knob. Let me just see if I do that. Can you hear the music now, Jay?
No.
What about now?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
Can you hear it once or twice?
Once.
Just the once?
Yep.
Right. Good. And is it louder now?
Yep.
Was that louder?
That was louder.
Was good. Oh well, that's better. And can you hear it echoing, or can you hear it? Does it sound, like it's properly constituted music?
What now?
Yeah.
Well, when you turn it up, I can hear it perfectly, but when you turn it down, it's tinny.
It's not echoing.
No, it's not echoing.
Oh, well, there you go. Learned something. Right. God bless you, folks. See you tomorrow with I don't know. Oh, Dennis Bain popping over from Hawaii. Good, excellent. See you then. Here's to us and bugger plutocracy and the tech.